Less Taken contains content that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Less Taken.
January 5th, 1975. 1993 Dice Road, Merrill, Michigan. The police have been circling the Pomeraning family for months. Arnold Pomeraning, his wife, and 2 sons can hardly believe what they're seeing. Then again, this constant and somewhat invasive surveillance is far from the worst thing that's been happening over the course of this last year. For a rural area such as where the Pomeraning family lives, this kind of perpetual police activity is unheard of. What could be going on to merit this much attention from the local authorities? The police have been patrolling the area, interviewing family members and neighbors, and even taking shifts staying inside of the residence with the family. Page upon page, reports of loud banging, electrical issues, and suspected poltergeist-like activity have piled up on their desk. The police don't know whether it's harassment, a delinquent kid, or hell, even ghosts, but it's certainly stolen their attention. The worst of it is, there have been numerous officers at the Pomeraning residence, and they too have deposited copious amounts of corroborating reports. Sergeant Joseph Hahn left this morning around 6 a.m., and while he mentioned a few oddities, overall, he didn't recount much unusual activity in or outside of the house, or even along the street. More officers are expected to arrive later in the afternoon to continue surveying Dice Road, but with any luck, the cycle will just repeat over and over until the family finally surrenders and moves out of the house. Or it burns itself down with them inside of it. Given all the things Arnold has seen and heard, it can really go either way. At least for now, it seems like he and his family have a moment of tranquility, composure at the very least. Arnold is relaxing in the living room, thumbing through a newspaper while occasionally considering the television set across from him. His wife is in the kitchen, tending to something, he's not sure what, and the boys are elsewhere. Arnold appreciates that this moment is rare amongst the usual relentless onslaught of loud banging noises, disembodied whispers, unexplainable drafts, and so on. Of course, a moment such as this is sure to be short-lived. 1:50 p.m., the middle of a nippy winter day, Arnold and the rest of his family hear a loud banging sound unlike any other they've heard before. This one sounds like some kind of explosion. 8 minutes later, and there's another explosion, just as loud and threatening as the first. The entire family huddles together in the living room, the young boy clutching onto his mother, tears strewn down both of their faces. 2:07 p.m., and there's a third explosion, but it's far from the last.
Do you have a copy?
Go for Han.
Have you made it back over to the Pomeraning house yet?
After receiving call after call about loud explosions coming from somewhere near the back of the east end of the Pomeraning residence, Sergeant Han drives back over to the house. Driving to this house and discussing strange noises in the night with Arnold and his family has nearly become a permanent part of his daily routine. Some of the tales are certainly entertaining, but after month and month of running around in circles with these stories, Sergeant Han may have lost a bit of his enthusiasm and a sliver of his patience. He'll admit, and even go on to report, that on the nights he spent either inside of the house or around the property, there's been quite a few times when he's gotten the creeps. He's heard some of those very same sounds that Arnold and his family heard. He's caught unusual happenings around the unlit hallways in the middle of the night. Nothing has ever fully convinced him that the police force is dealing with real-life ghosts, though. On this evening, he's not too surprised or even entertained by a tale of loud explosions. Sure, why not? What is surprising, however, is the fact that they're taking place in the middle of the day. When Ton arrives at the Pomeraning residence, he's quickly welcomed over to discuss the most recent, unexplainable happenings. And Arnold has plenty to say once the follow-up report officially begins. Arnold's words soon fade into the background when Han feels what might be described as a cool mist. A gust brushes his side, chilling and, well, misty. Trying to brush it off, Han continues jotting down as much of Arnold's story as he can. Then, Sergeant Han feels it again. But this time, it's much stronger. It's not just some breeze or rogue mist. There's some kind of invisible force pressing against him. Suddenly, that same invisible force plows forward, an invisible stiff arm, launching Han off of his feet and slamming him into the ground. Sergeant Han has been on the police force for years. He's been to this house a few dozen times by now. He even used to be an army ranger. Yet this might be the very first time that he's felt such fear. Thank you for checking out this preview of Dice Road, the latest story from Less Taken, Season 3. In this upcoming episode, we'll explore the terrifying story surrounding a particular house on Dice Road in Merrill, Michigan. We'll continue following the Pomeraning family as they're tormented by unexplainable sounds and events which see more police involvement than any other haunting in the Midwest. The full episode drops next Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. In the meantime, please let us know what you think of the show by leaving a fair rating and review wherever you're listening. If you really like the show, be sure to subscribe with downloads on and tell a friend. It all truly helps. What also helps is checking out our updated Less Taken swag shop. Coming soon, we'll have some glow-in-the-dark merch, and currently we have a limited edition Halloween hoodie up for grabs. Aside from the merch, you can find all of our episodes, sources, notes, additional media, and so much more at lesstakenpod.com. Follow us before we follow you on the social medias under the handle at lesstakenpod. Instagram is good for additional media and early samples. A quick note on our storytelling. While we do our best to stick to the facts while telling these real-life horror stories, we sometimes take creative liberties to maintain narrative cohesiveness. I'm CM Humphreys, and this is Less Taken, real-life horror stories from the Midwest. Once again, thanks for listening, and I hope you join us next Wednesday for the full episode of Dice Road.